You are invited to participate in a true multimedia experience coming to a home near you. LCM TV is bringing Lake County into the new millennium with news, live broadcast, information, music, talk shows, and local programming, all streaming in high definition online and soon to be on your Roku box. Join us at lcm-tv.com or be a part of our studio audience. You can also watch the shows at lakecomagazine.com as we provide programming to inform, enlighten, and maybe even enrage you. On Lake County Magazine Talk Show with Terry and Pete the Tax Guy, Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. Like racing? Try the Checkered Flag Show, hosted by Ace Naylor on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. All ages and divisions in regional and national fields. Joni Lane brings a positive light to you every Monday at 3 p.m. Pasha Space brings an international flair as they discuss ecological, health, and social issues in Haiti with people around the world. End up your week with positive, conscious sounds on Saturday at 9 a.m. with Sister T on the Bridge. This show is also simulcast on KMEC 105.1 FM in Ukiah. Our latest show, LCM TV News, is brought to you live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon, and rebroadcast at 6:30 p.m. and noon daily, Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday, featuring national, regional, and local news, weather, and sports. We have it all here for you on your local TV station, LCM TV. Join us online and soon on Roku, giving you access to all the best Lake County has to offer. We are LCMTV.com, your multimedia connection. Tune in for the fun. It's live TV at its
Welcome.
best.
This is LCM TV, not your normal news. I'm Pete Schiffman.
I'm Megan Berger.
A shootout among members of several rival motorcycle gangs in a busy shopping plaza in Waco, Texas on Sunday left at least 9 bikers dead and 18 others injured. Gunfire erupted around 12:15 p.m. outside Twin Peaks restaurant, where members of the motorcycle clubs, good job, excuse me folks, motorcycle clubs had gathered. The fights spilled into the parking lot, initially involving just fists and feet, but escalating quickly to chains, knives, clubs, and firearms. Waco police officers were already at the scene when the confrontation unfolded because they anticipated problems as hundreds of bikers from at least 5 groups gathered at the plaza. Law enforcement officials said the shootout was the worst violence in Waco since the Branch Davidians. No officers, shoppers, or bystanders were injured. Police did not identify groups involved, but photographs of members arrested showed a number of them in leather jackets bearing the names of Bandidos, Cossacks, and Scimitars.
American Special Operations Forces mounted a rare raid into eastern Syria early Saturday, killing a leader of the Islamic State and about a dozen militant fighters, as well as capturing his wife and freeing an 18-year-old Yazidi woman who Pentagon officials said had been held as a slave. In the first successful raid by American ground troops since the military campaign against the Islamic State began last year, 24 Delta Force commandos entered Syria aboard Black Hawk helicopters and V-22 Ospreys and killed the leader, a man known as Abu Sayyaf. One American military official described him as the Islamic State's Emir of oil and gas. Another terrorism analysis compared him to Al Capone's accountant and likely is replaceable in a fairly short order. A Defense Department official said Islamic State fighters who had defended their building and Abu Sayyaf tried to use women and children as shields, but that the Delta Force commandos used a very precise fire, separating the women and children. The raid came after weeks of surveillance of Abu Sayyaf, using information gleaned from a small but growing network of informants whom the CIA and the Pentagon have painstakingly developed in Syria.
An Egyptian court Saturday sentenced to death their deposed president Mohamed Morsi of the Muslim Brotherhood, along with more than 100 others for fleeing prison during the 2011 revolt against President Hosni Mubarak. Morsi's conviction is the latest sign of the undoing of the uprising that overthrew Mubarak. Morsi, who was Egypt's first freely elected leader, now faces the death penalty for escaping extra-legal detention, a form of detention that many Egyptians hoped would be eliminated by the revolution. If carried out, the sentence could become make Morsi a martyr to millions of Islamists in Egypt and around the world. Before they can be carried out, the death sentences must be approved by Egypt's top Sunni Muslim religious authority, the Grand Mufti, who is scheduled to make a ruling by June 2nd. The convictions are also subject to appeal through the court system.
Prosecutors on a Mexican border state say that a group of youths aged 11 to 15 tortured, killed, and buried a 6-year-old boy as part of what they considered playing. A statement made by the Chihuahua State Prosecutor's Office says the minors admitted to Thursday's killing in a poor neighborhood of the state capital. 2 13-year-old girls, an 11-year-old boy, and 2 15-year-olds caught Christopher Raimundo Martinez, tied him up, suffocated him with a bar of wood, stoned him, then one of the children stabbed him in the back. They then buried the 6-year-old in a shallow grave. The body was found Saturday. The prosecutor's statement expresses a concern over a killing that shows social decomposition and an absence of values. The 2 15-year-olds faced criminal charges. The younger children were turned over to juvenile authorities.
That's a horrible story. Sorry for interrupting you.
Very sad.
That's terrible. A proposed new law in Denmark could be the first step towards an economic revolution that sees physical currencies and normal bank accounts abolished and gives government futuristic new tools to fight the cycle of boom and bust. The Danish proposal sounds innocuous enough on the surface. It would simply allow shops to refuse payments in cash and insist that customers use contactless debit cards or some other form means of electronic payment. Officially, the aim is to ease administrative and financial burdens, such as the cost of hiring a security service to send cash to the bank, and as part of a program of reforms aimed at boosting growth. Boosting growth. Send cash to the bank as part of a program of reforms aimed at boosting growth. It could be a key moment in the advert of cashless societies. And once all money exists only in bank accounts, monitored or even directly controlled by the government, the authorities will be able to encourage us to spend more than when the economy slows, or spend less when it is overheating. It will also be more difficult for criminals to commit money laundering.
A purported British investment firm that came knocking on Avon Products' door with a takeover bid on Thursday appears to be part of an elaborate hoax. A firm calling itself PTG Capital Partners disclosed in a regulatory filing before noon on Thursday that it had offered to buy Avon for $18.75 a share. The report stunned the market and briefly sent Avon's shares into a soaring $8. Avon stock opening trading on Thursday at $6.71. PTG Capital does not have an office at the building it claims to be located in London and is not registered with financial authorities in Britain. The incident could raise concern about the security of the filing network and the potential for abuse.
Coming up next is regional news. We'll be right back.
SSS Multimedia is sending you smoke signals, providing their clients with the ultimate communication and multimedia marketing, distribution, production, and web-based services. They feature high-def video equipment and quality audio sound. SSS is your multimedia source, from graphics for business cards to television production, radio, live sound, and everything in between. SSS is sending you smoke signals. Get your message out with SSS Multimedia. For more information, call 707-701-6416 or email info@sssmultimedia.com.
In regional news, extreme sports took its toll this weekend as legend Dean Potter was one of the 2 base jumpers found dead in Yosemite National Park after attempting a wingsuited aerial descent from Taft Point. The 2 men's bodies were located during a helicopter search around noon on Sunday. This is according to Scott Gilderman, spokesman for the park. Potter, 43, and Graham Hunt, 29, were reported missing late Saturday by friends, Gilderman said. The 2 had jumped from Taft Point, a scenic overhang, into Yosemite Valley, a descent of roughly 3,500 feet. It wasn't immediately clear what had caused their jump to go fatally wrong. The pair are believed to have jumped together, but were reportedly found at different points. Base jumping is illegal in Yosemite Park. This concept of turning dying into flying is a metaphor for my basic life principle. Quite often, there's a way to change the worst things we have going on into the best things which become our strengths. Potter posted on his Instagram page, In Daly City, firefighters and paramedics were unable to save a man who crashed into a cliffside on Sunday while paragliding near Muscle Rock. North County fire officials attempted the rescue operation using ropes to descend the rocky precipice. Thank you. They were unable to revive the paraglider, who sustained traumatic injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene, according to a press statement.
U.S. Senate candidate Loretta Sanchez, addressing Democratic activists Sunday, apologized for a gesture mocking American Indians. Sanchez, a 10-term congresswoman, said the Native American war cry while speaking to an American Indian group in Anaheim on Saturday came amid a crazy and exciting rush of meetings, she stated. In a video posted on social media, Sanchez holds her hands in front of her mouth and makes a whooping sound. I said something offensive, and for that I sincerely apologize. Kamala Harris, the other Democrat in the race, called the action shocking and said there was no place for it in public discourse. Sanchez said she is proud of her record on human, civil, and minority rights, as well as the rights of Native Americans. Sanchez said she's spent time in a tribal council listening and advocating for members, saying that they know I've always had their backs.
A San Francisco man was killed Friday in Hopland when he lost control of his motorcycle and collided with a pickup truck, the California Highway Patrol reported. According to the CHP, the victim, identified only as 41-year-old man, was driving a 2014 Victory motorcycle east on Highway 175, just west of the Shakawa Casino, around 7:30 p.m., when for unknown reasons he lost control of his motorcycle and both he and the vehicle went down. The driver then traveled into the westbound lane of traffic and collided with a 2012 Ford F-250 pickup truck. The driver of the truck reportedly hit the brakes and turned right in an attempt to avoid hitting the man, but he was unsuccessful. Medical personnel, including members of the Hopland Fire Department, attempted to revive the victim, but he was declared dead at the scene. According to the CHP, alcohol is not believed to have been a factor in the collision, but it remains under investigation.
A growing body of medical research shows a link between the chemicals that make nail and beauty products useful and serious health problems. Manicurists who handle the chemicals and breathe their fumes for hours on end, day after day, are risking cancer, birth defects, and a host of health issues. California activists and health officials have been examining the chemicals used in nail salons for nearly a decade. In 2012, California Department of Toxic Substances Control found toxic chemicals in several nail products that had claimed to be toxic-free. The study, based on a small sample of products from Bay Area distributors, focused on 3 chemicals known as the toxic trio: formaldehyde, toluene, dibutol, and phthalate. Exposure to the chemicals has been linked to cancer and birth defects, according to the state. San Francisco adopted an ordinance that gave official city recognition to salons that use toxic-free products. Last year, Alameda County created a program that recognized nail salons that used healthier products. The state also agreed to review a host of consumer products that contain chemicals, including nail polish. A complete list of the chemicals used in nail salons can be found at the EPA government website. The link is showing.
The Ukiah City Council voted Friday to appoint Assistant City Manager Sage Saggiacomo to replace existing City Manager Jane Chambers. Mayor Doug Crane said the vote was 4-1, with him casting the sole dissenting vote, though I have pledged to Sage that I will do what I can to support him. Asked to elaborate on his reasons for dissenting, Crane said he did not agree with the culture that currently exists within the city staff. How does one change the culture from within? Crane asked, adding that he would like the culture of city staff to be more open, more visible, and more timely. In becoming city manager, his position will change from civil service to at will, so the terms must be agreeable to both parties, Crane said. Saggiacomo, 41, grew up in Ukiah and first started working for the city as a lifeguard when he was still in high school in 1991. He went on to become pool manager, community services supervisor, and in 2005 he was named Community and General Services Director. In 2009, when he was named Assistant City Manager, his former position and new position were combined into one.
The Sonoma County Sheriff's Office announced that the town of Windsor was named by Safewise as one of the 50 safest cities in California. It ranked at number 28. Safewise combined data from recent FBI crime reports with their own research research to create a list of the 50 safest cities in California. According to them, the 50 safest cities reported much lower incidence of crime than the national average. The average violent crime rate amongst our safest cities was 1.12 per 1,000 people, and the average property crime rate was 11.32 per 1,000 people. That means the average safe city experienced 70% less violent crime and 60% less property crime than the typical U.S. city. In addition, 42 of California's 50 safest cities, 84% reported no murders.
Coming up next, folks, is local news. We'll be back in a few.
The taxman's taken all my dough and left me in my stately home, blazing on a sunny afternoon. And I can't sail my yacht, he's taken everything I got. All I've got's this sunny afternoon.
Manticorp Tax and Accounting can help you minimize taxation, establish a corporate presence, and save you money. Our over 25 years of experience in domestic and international taxation and incorporation services makes us the best at what we do. Your first consultation at Manticorp is always free, and our discounted rates guarantee you will not end up paying for what you don't get. Try Manticorp today. For more information, call 707-701-6416 or email info@manticorpusa.com.
Welcome back. In local news, authorities say a man participating in a Northern California bicycle race that passed through Lake County was killed after being hit by a truck. California Highway Patrol officials said the 50-year-old Rockland man rode into the path of a tractor-trailer truck on Saturday after failing to stop at the stop sign in Dixon, about 20 miles southwest of Sacramento. The driver could not stop in time and ran over the cyclist. The cyclist, whose name has not been released, was riding the Davis Double Century Ride, a 200-mile race through Yolo, Solano, and Napa and Lake counties. Organizers rerouted the ride away from where the fatal crash occurred.
On Tuesday, April 29th, around 11:30 a.m., an 8-year-old pet Labradoodle named Buddy was killed in front of his home on Pine Avenue in Clear Lake. Buddy was brutally stabbed, his throat cut by a knife-wielding stranger walking by his front yard. The weapon severed his jugular vein and trachea. He bled to death in his owner's arms at the emergency vet. The family is distributing this flyer to create public awareness, express their concerns, intolerance, and outrage that this happened in their community. Jan, the dog's owner, stated that, "I feel that our society, especially our youth, are so desensitized by the saturation of graphic blood, gore, and violence on TV, video games, the internet, and movies, even music, that it has corrupted our basic moral value system, created apathy and a false reality with a lack of empathy and compassion, making people with cold hearts. Nothing is shocking anymore. Speak out, get involved, demand change, and seek justice." The family said that there was no justification or reason for Buddy's death. A visitor accidentally let Buddy out of the gate. They say he was outside for maybe 10 minutes. "We were having coffee and had just fixed the dog's breakfast when I heard 3 high-pitched, blood-curdling yelps. I ran out to my front yard and found my angel with blood gushing from his neck. The whole event had been horrific. The police will not do anything, and when I reported that, I was told that if the person walking by my house felt threatened, they were justified to defend themselves. He was not aggressive or a threat of any kind to anyone. Buddy just wanted to say hello and would have licked you all over. Ask anyone that knew him," said Jan. She said that she had heard reports of a person bragging at a local gas station that he was tired of stray dogs approaching him and had devised a shank-type weapon to dispose of them. There is a reward out for Buddy's killer. Anyone with information on the killer is advised to contact Clear Lake Police Department at area code 707-994-8251.
The supervisors' meeting tomorrow will issue a policy statement for the 6 Northern California counties in the event that marijuana becomes legal. I'll take the next one. There will be a Time Bank social this Tuesday, May 19th, during the happy hour from 6 to 8 p.m. at the O'Meara Brothers Brew Pub in Lakeport. This activity is for members and non-members alike. There'll be no time to share thoughts. There will be time to share thoughts and questions about time banking and meet old friends as well as make new ones. The group will start by meeting at the large table near the front door. Please RSVP as soon as possible if you plan to attend with an email to timebanklakeco@gmail.com. Again, timebanklakeco@gmail.com with a person count. This will help the restaurant plan as needed. Time bankers can also earn hours at this event. 2 hours credit for attending, 1 hour credit for each new guest you bring. Time bankers trade time instead of cash to give or receive services. Every hour is worth the same. Membership is open to all who live or work in Lake County. For more information, please visit their website at thrivelakecounty.org.
This Thursday, May 21st at 5:30 p.m., there will be a ribbon cutting to celebrate the newly installed docks at Library Park. Bring your blanket or chair and plan to stay and picnic to the music provided by the LC Diamonds. The Lakeport Main Street Association will be selling beer and wine, and the event starts at 5 p.m.
The Lake County Pride Foundation will be hosting its 8th annual Safe House of Lake County Golf Tournament on Saturday, June 13th. Make your own team or join another team in the 4-person scramble. Golfing on the greens of beautiful Adams Springs Golf Course in Cobb will cost $50, which includes a cart. After the tournament, a barbecue meal by the Lower Lake Community Action Committee will be available. You can purchase silent and live auction items. For reservations or more information, please contact Georgina Lane at 707-987-7337 or Angie Berry at 707-489-6524. You can always help out even if you don't golf. Individuals, companies, and agencies can sponsor a hole and the sponsor's name is placed on a T sign. You could donate goods or services or cash to purchase items for the silent and live auctions. Lake Community Pride Foundation is a nonprofit group responsible for the success of the Safe House, a local teen shelter for homeless or troubled youth. They also support youth performing arts programs offered at Lower Lake High School, and they also produce youth events such as Power to the Youth and Andy Day. For more information on Lake Community Pride Foundation, please visit their website at lakecountypride.org.
Gibson Museum volunteers just finished with their gala celebration of the museum's first anniversary and met for their Tuesday, May 5th meeting. My apologies. Fred Castaldo revealed the event cleared enough to ensure covering operation costs for at least 6 months. This was welcome news as the Gibson Museum is supported entirely by donations as well as operated entirely by volunteers. At the gala held at the Twin Pines Casino Event Center, they brought the Hobos and the Peculiars, who presented a show that brought a lot of laughs. Laura Kennedy, who played a reporter from San Francisco collecting information for a story on the history of Lake County, was the hit of the show as she swirled and gargled a good Lake County wine. Another highlight was the presentation of an oversized check representing a donation of $1,100 from the Middletown Rotary Club. The donation is specifically dedicated towards the cost of much-needed upgrading of the storage facilities for items in the Gibson collection when not on display. High prize for the celebration and Gibson Museum itself came from Jeff Burroughs, a descendant of the John Henry Berry who built the first house in Middletown. Jeff came for the event from Boonville. Volunteers will begin gearing up to put together a new exhibit, hopefully ready to mount in June, featuring early Middletown and the families that have been influential in its past. They will start with those whose names are on the highway signs and buildings. If you have suggestions for families to be included, or if you can loan family photos or mementos they could display for a couple months, send an email to gibsonmuseum@gmail.com or phone Nina at 987-2349 or Voris at 295-7174. They will scan the photos and return them immediately.
The Lake County Board of Supervisors unanimously voiced their support for the development of a multi-use trail in Middletown. The trail will run from Central Park Road to Twin Pine Casino to provide a buffer from traffic and a facility that is comfortable for all users. Since the beginning of the Middletown Community Action Plan, it has been anticipated that Caltrans would be responsible for the ongoing maintenance of the trail, which will be used by pedestrians, bicyclists, and equestrians. If the grant is awarded, Public Works would be the agency that creates the project and puts the plans together. Public Works Director Scott DeLeon said, "So as long as we ensure that Caltrans is doing the maintenance on it, I'm supportive of the project." The development of a multi-use trail is a high priority identified in the Middletown Community Action Plan. The MCAP aims to address concerns such as safety, traffic congestion, as well as pedestrian and bicycle routes on the Highway 29 South Corridor, which has had a history of crashes and collisions. Coming up next is sports and weather, and we'll be right back.
You're invited to participate in a true multimedia experience coming to a home near you. LCM TV is bringing Lake County into the new millennium with news, live broadcast, information, music, talk shows, and local programming, all streaming in high definition online and soon to be on your Roku box. Join us at lcm-tv.com or be a part of our studio audience. You can also watch the shows at lakecomagazine.com as we provide programming to inform, enlighten, and maybe even enrage you. On Lake County Magazine Talk Show with Terry and Pete the Tax Guy, Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. Like racing? Try the Checkered Flag Show, hosted by Ace Naylor on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. All ages and divisions in regional and national fields. Joni Lane brings a positive light to you every Monday at 3 p.m. Pasha Space brings an international flair as they discuss ecological, health, and social issues in Haiti with people around the world. End up your week with positive, conscious sounds on Saturday at 9 a.m. with Sister T on the Bridge. This show is also simulcast on KMEC 105.1 FM in Ukiah. Our latest show, LCM TV News, is brought to you live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon, and rebroadcast at 6:30 p.m. and noon daily, Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday, featuring national, regional, and local news, weather, and sports. We have it all here for you on your local TV station, LCM TV. Join us online and soon on Roku, giving you access to all the best Lake County has to offer. We are LCMTV.com, your multimedia connection. Tune in for the fun. It's live TV at its best.
This weekend's wet storm did not provide much, if any, relief from California's historic drought, although we here in Lake County were hit with a strong thunderstorm, which brought us some short-term relief. Lightning and thunder highlighted the storm yesterday, with reports of trees down and a possible house hit by lightning. Clear Lake Park resident Alex Latsko reported that lightning struck the top of his house and shattered all the windows out. But there is hope for a serious drenching next year from the El Nino, a tropical weather pattern over the Pacific Ocean that typically brings rain into the West Coast. Climatologists say the system forming near the equator looks like a big one that has the potential to provide relief from the years-long dry spell. There is no guarantee, says climatologist Bill Patzert of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, but he says the increasingly warm temperatures in the Pacific along the equator recall conditions back in the spring of 1997, the prelude to the record El Nino year that brought heavy rains to California. Locally, we have a 40% chance of rain with considerable cloudiness and occasional showers. The high will only be 69, winds out of the southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. It will dry out in the evening with clear skies and a low around 50. Winds will be from the southwest, also at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Tuesday, there will be a 20% chance of rain, except for a few afternoon clouds. It will be mainly sunny with a high of 72. Winds back out from the south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and in the evening the chance of rain drops to 10% as it will be mostly clear with a low of 51. Winds staying out of the south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Wednesday will be warm slightly, and there will be 20% chance of rain with partly cloudy skies and a high of 72. Winds will shift from the south, also at 10 to 15 miles per hour.
In sports, Mark Cavendish gave the Etix Quick Step team its fifth stage win of the Tour of California on the final stage to Pasadena. But it was a hollow victory as his teammate Julian Alaphilippe was overthrown from the race lead by Peter Sagan, who threw his bike, a technique used to gain a few feet at the end of a race, by stretching the body and pushing it, to take third on the stage of mere millimeters, thus securing enough bonus seconds to win the overall race. Sagan never came into the Tour of California with aspirations for the overall, but after the time trial was moved from snowy Big Bear down to Santa Clarita and reduced to 10.6 kilometers, Sagan blasted around the course to unexpectedly win the test. He followed that remarkable win with a gutsy performance on Mount Baldy, where he lost the jersey to Alaphilippe by only 2 seconds. During the final 105-kilometer stage, Sagan nudged the young freshman by 1 second in the intermediate sprint, setting up the final showdown at the finish, where the Slovakian champion had to battle all the sprinters to get into the top 3. On Friday afternoon, Clear Lake paralyzed the 2-out pass ball into 6-run uprising in a 7-2 victory over the Lower Lake Trojans, a win that guarantees the Cardinals no worse than a co-championship in the North Central League One. Clear Lake is 13-1 in league play and 17-5 overall, won its final 13 league games after losing 2-0 at Cloverdale in late March. Should Cloverdale, who is 12-1, win its final league game on Wednesday at home against Middletown, a playoff between the Cardinals and Eagles would take place a week from today in Lakeport. Lower Lake, who's 9-4 in league play and 17-6 overall, closes out its league schedule Tuesday in Fort Bragg before moving on to the Division IV playoffs at an at-large team, which is all but a foregone conclusion. Clear Lake's Brandon Coakley didn't allow a runner to reach scoring position until the 7th inning as the undefeated Cardinals shut out the Kelseyville Knights 8-0 in North Central League One varsity baseball action on Friday afternoon in Lakeport. Excuse me. Clear Lake's regular season now stands at 23-0, including 13-0 in league, with 1 game to go. The Cardinals play Middletown, its final tune-up before the start of the North Coast Section Division V playoffs, which begin the week of May 25th. Over the weekend, the San Francisco Giants beat the Cincinnati Reds by scores of 10-2, 11-2, and 9-8, with Brandon Belt hitting a home run in each of the 3 games. The 3 wins brings the Giants' record to 2 games above 500, but are still in second place, 4.5 games behind the first-place Dodgers. The Oakland A's continued their losing streak over the weekend, losing to the White Sox. The A's have now lost 4 in a row and 9 out of the last 10 games. They are still in last place, but now 12.5 games behind the Houston Astros, who they play the next 3 games in Houston.
And for our final word, a purchase price of $5.8 million with fees for Joan Mitchell's abstract expressionist painting Afternoon pushed the total art sales by Christie's this week past $1 billion, the first time a single auction house has reached that benchmark in such a short span. The Mitchell was one of the 82 lots of post-war and contemporary art that were estimated to raise at least $495 million. There is and other notable sales of the night. Mark Rothko's number 10 went for $81.9 million. Andy Warhol's Colored Mona Lisa sold for $56.2 million. And Lucian Freud's Benefit Supervisor Resting also went for $56.2 million. 2 days earlier, Christie's sold $705.9 million worth of works spanning the 20th century, including Picasso's 1955 Les Femmes d'Alger version O, which sold for an all-time auction high of $179.4 million.
I'm sure glad you know how to pronounce French words.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Glad you read that story instead of me. Thanks for joining us, folks. LCM TV News can be seen Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon live here at lcm-tv.com and anytime on the 2015 archive page at lakecomagazine.com. Join us again on Wednesday at noon. Today's Monday, isn't it? Yep,
Yes.
Okay. The next live show broadcast will be A Positive Light with Joni Lane at 3 p.m. today and The Checkered Flag tomorrow with Ace Naylor at 7 p.m. And don't forget to check Lake County Magazine for all your local news and information daily at lakecomagazine.com. I'm Pete Schiffman.
I'm Megan Berger.
Have a great day, folks.